My name is Hanan Hazime. I'm a Lebanese Canadian multidisciplinary artist, creative writer, and arts instructor living in Toronto. I've been writing and telling stories since I was a young child. My dream as a little girl was to one day become a successful writer. I graduated 5 years ago from the University of Windsor with a Master's of Arts degree in English Literature and Creative Writing. I have been facilitating arts and creative writing workshops since then. I've also been working on my own writing. My first poetry chapbook, Aorta, was published by ZED Press in 2018, and I'm currently working on my first novel thanks to an Ontario Arts Council grant. Although I was born in Canada and I speak and write English fluently now, that wasn't always the case. My parents immigrated here in the 80s from Lebanon, and they raised me according to their Lebanese values and cultural traditions. So I was completely immersed in Lebanese and Arab culture. When I began kindergarten at the age of 4, I was barely able to speak English. I remember one instance in particular when we were learning about shapes and colors, and my teacher pointed to a purple square and asked what color it was, and I confidently and proudly said, mauve. Mauve is the Lebanese Arabic word for purple. It was my favorite color at the time, so of course I knew how to say it, but my teacher said I was incorrect. This really upset me and frustrated me. I didn't know how to convey to her that I actually knew what the color purple was in my mother tongue, but not in English. So I struggled with English for the next few years. It wasn't until grade 4 when I fell in love with stories that I actually became a better writer and English speaker. I practically inhaled books. I was reading a book or two every single day. I loved being transported into other people's worlds and stories, and then I decided to start writing my own stories. However, it didn't occur to me at the time that I could write stories about myself or about other Arab girls or other Muslim girls or other people from my culture. The people in the stories that I read were all white and Christian, so naturally, my characters were also all white and Christian. The first time I wrote a Muslim Arab character was in my master's program in university. Thanks to a wonderful professor who encouraged me to pursue my authentic voice, I ended up writing a novella called Rosewater for my master's creative writing thesis. Rosewater centered the narratives of 2 Muslim women. This was revolutionary for me. I had finally understood that I could share stories from my own lived experience and from my own culture, and that those stories mattered and that they were valid. So according to Dr. Nicole Martins, an American media professor, symbolic annihilation is the idea that if you don't see people like you in the media you consume, you must somehow be unimportant. Centering the narratives of women of color, immigrants, and refugees reaffirms that our stories are important and valid. Also, as Janet Leatherland, the American novelist, says, stories have power. They delight, enchant, touch, teach, recall, inspire, challenge. They help us understand. They imprint a picture on our minds. Want to make a point or raise an issue? Tell a story. And I believe that from cave paintings and hieroglyphs to modern tweets and ebooks, storytelling has been humanity's most essential method of communication. Stories are what connect us together emotionally, and they're what allow us to thrive as a species. Stories instigate empathy. I think that whether we are sharing stories in our mother tongues or in English, or using a mixture of both language, that sharing our stories is vital. It is the best way to create a more loving and more empathetic world. Thank you for listening to my story, and I am so excited to be facilitating an online workshop for the Stories We Share by Muse Arts. I hope to see you there.